All right, so I wanted to make a video on one of the most asked questions I get on my live every morning when I stream on TikTok. One of the most asked questions that I get is what indicators do I use and how do I use them? And I think a lot of people ask this question not only because they're looking for a solution to their problem. Obviously, they want to make the right trades and they want to use the best educated decision. But I think sometimes people use indicators as a last resort to define whether or not to take an entry. And they can get too focused on searching for the perfect indicator that's going to be right 100% of the time. And most of the time, that's just not the case. We're not going to have this one sole indicator that's going to show you, what trade to take every single day when you sit down in the market. So I'm going to show the indicators that I use that indicate me on how I can make the best educated decision on taking a trade. And I'm going to show two examples today from my one of my streams that I've done. And I just want to show how I made $300. These are two separate days. One was a $200 winner, and then another one which was a $100 winner. So overall, I'm going to show how I made $300 using indicators in the stock market. And so first off, I just want to show a little bit of what I use as indicators. So I made a little bit of a PowerPoint slide presentation just to go over some of the examples, and then we're going to jump into the live examples on how I made the $300. So first off, this is just an example of the indicators that I use and all together, right? So first off, we have the 9 EMA, then we have the 20 EMA, we have volume weighted after average price, which is closed here, but I'm going to show an example of it in just a second. And then we have volume bars and a MACD, moving average convergence divergence indicator. So first off, the 9 EMA is one of the most important EMAs I look for, and this just shows strength and momentum in the market. It gets reacted to price very easily, and it helps spot breakouts with a short-term pullbacks for fast-paced indicator. So you could see as INDP moves up higher, how closely the 9 EMA follows it, and so it's a exponential moving average that goes along with the 9 period of candlesticks. So on the 1 minute chart, it's going to take the average of the 9 periods before it, and it's going to scale up with it as it goes. So you can see how it pulled back to the 9 EMA here. It got bought up pretty heavily and started moving up higher. Pulled back, respect to the 20 EMA here, and then kept going up a little bit higher. So the 9 EMA sometimes can get a little bit too close to the price action, and you can get really chopped out. So what you can do is move on to the 20 EMA. And so I find it really important to connect a color scheme with some of the indicators that you use. And so for the 9 EMA, I typically use the color white. So you'll see the 9 EMA being white. And this allows my brain to process the EMAs and the indicators a little bit quicker than just all the same colors, because we can differentiate each other's indicators. And so the next EMA that I use is the 20 EMA, and this one filters out the noise and makes it, from the faster EMAs like the 9 EMA. And so you can really get more consistent support and resistance levels, and then you can confirm the strength and direction of the stock. If you're just trading in this choppy area of the 9 EMA and we're going above and below and above and below, most of the times this 20 EMA is going to hold a little bit stronger, like you can see in the support area for the 20 EMA, than the 9 EMA did, where it goes above and below quite frequently. So, typically in stronger, price action support areas, you can see the 20 EMA holds a little bit better than the 9 EMA. And of course, I'm showing a great example of how it held with IPDN. This is a stock that moved up last Friday, and I got a really nice trade on it, over a 50% breakout just before it started breaking out even further, all the way up to almost $11 a share. So this was a really good move for this stock. But next we have VWAP, and VWAP is really important. I think VWAP tends to show a bias of what stock the direction is going to go. So let me pull up an example of a VWAP example here. So VWAP on the 10-second chart, you can see how most of the time, if we're above the price action for VWAP, you're going to be a clear bias into some strength. And so typically when we're below the VWAP, I won't trade it at all because it shows an indication to me that sellers are in control of this stock and it's going to go down. So I'll trade it only above the VWAP here. And of course, in hindsight, looking back at this, this is perfect. We're making new highs, we're continuing going higher here. But this also was a perfect example. I'll show in a little bit of a MACD crossover. And this is one of my best trades of the month this month. And so I got the break of 6 looking for the extension up, and it was just a picture perfect setup. And this was a break of VWAP setup, a MACD setup, and volume setup all together. And I'm going to show what MACD is in just a minute here. But as we continue going on, we're looking at volume bars. So this confirms the price moves. If the price is moving higher and you can see that volume isn't increasing, this shows that there's a lack of buying. And so low volume indicates less selling overall in the market, or less buying in the market. So let's say a stock is going up. We're going from $3 to $4 to $5. And once we reach $6, there's less buying and indication through volume bars. So we can see here as this is pulling up, volume is increasing and selling is decreasing, and it's not the same strength as buying as it's continue going higher. So volume bars are a huge indication to show as price is moving up, what are buyers doing? Are buyers buying it up as it's going higher? And that shows, very, very good strength in the market as volume is increasing. And then as soon as we get a little bit of a pullback here, selling has increased as price has moved up, and then buying has kind of slowed down, and price wasn't able to reclaim until this next move where volume started to pick up and more buying came in as the price was going higher. So it's a really good indicator that you can use with all. It's one of those indicators that you can use to connect each other indicator, especially price action, together and really give you a better idea of what the price is doing in that moment. Next, we have MACD, and MACD is, I think, one of my favorite indicators for trading. And the reason why MACD is one of my favorites is because it really shows direction in the market. One of the only cons that there is on it is that it's a lagging indicator. And so typically when we have a lagging indicator, price will move on from the current time and it'll be behind. But here's why I think it's good. It'll show a direction of where it's going. While MACD is positive, when the green line is over the red line, it really shows an example of how this stock can move as it's going higher. So like right here, you can see MACD is, curling up. It's doing a really nice job and it's holding these levels. Each dip is not curling the MACD negative until we get to this point here where then it starts to curl over, wasn't able to break this high. And then right here in this area, you can see how MACD crossed over, wasn't able to break up until this level, gave a nice pop when MACD crossed over, wasn't able to hold. It kind of flushed this rejection, unfortunately, and then started curling over negative again. So I think it's a very good indicator to show you a strength and direction of a stock. And so, if you combined all of these together on a chart, it can really give you a solid foundation of what to trade. But the only problem is that you're not going to be able to look at an indicator and it's going to be right 100% of the time. And so it's really important to take this information and use educated intuition and experience to connect all of these together in real time before you make a decision on, buying a stock. So just manage your risk acceptably and then go from there. And then the last EMA is a 200 EMA. And this 200 EMA is, I think, one of the most important indicators for a strong setup and a small cap stock. So what we're looking for is this on the daily chart. If we have room on the 200 EMA, either above or below it, this can really filter out the weaker setups when you're trading. And so, for example, we can see here on INDP, what kind of setup this is. So if we look at the daily chart here, I'm just going to pull this up a large, we can see how, over time, this 200 EMA, this purple line that I use, really shows what support and resistance level it'll touch it and won't be able to hold. It goes back below it. It'll touch it, is able to hold, and it goes back below it. Not able to break above, this 200 EMA. And finally, once we broke over this 200 EMA, we can snap through this price action and see if we can hold up, and potentially we can get, continuation multiple days after the fact. So the 200 EMA is something that once a stock is popping up, I'll quickly glance at to see how much room there is above it. So if we're at, $1.50, we're pushing $2, $3, and we get over to this $3.50 level, I'm thinking to myself, okay, we're gonna have a little bit of resistance here. I'm gonna hold off my trade until we can prove that we can hold above this level and continue going higher. So this is a huge resistance or support indicator when trading these small cap stocks. So the 200 EMA is very, very important. So I wanted to go over some live trades, like I said, where I made over $300 trading these stocks just using this support and breakout setup. And so, you know, when we're looking at SAR here, I'm going to do a little bit of a dissection here. And so we can see here up on the top, this is going to be my live position. And then this is the 10-second chart, the daily chart, the 1-minute chart, and the 5-minute chart. So just from looking at this from an outside perspective, what am I looking at? This stock is our fourth leading gainer. It's the gap right now is up almost 50% on the day. The price is at $2.43. We're looking at a pretty high volume coming in with a very, very low float. So when we're looking at all of this and we're analyzing, okay, so this is the type of stock that we're looking to trade. It does have news here, and so we're looking for a dip here. So I'm watching this as it's curling down, and potential setup around the 9 EMA, which shows momentum. We have a 5-minute breakdown. Volume is a little bit lighter on this candle. We have a strong support here on VWAP as well. VWAP being the orange line indicating volume weighted average price. It's a formula that connects, volume and price together over a certain period of time and gives you a really strong bias on the stock. So if it's able to hold up these levels, we have plenty of room on the daily chart up to $10, $11 a share. And so what we're looking for here is a dip off of VWAP and continuation going up higher. Right now we're dipping just below this VWAP level. And so if we're looking for, a squeeze up higher, the position window is going to be a little bit small on this. But just use this as an example here. We're going to be taking a trade within this area. So it dips here for a second and we'd be looking for a nice squeeze up. So looking here, it gave a nice bounce up through $1.50. So I'm taking the breakout of $1.50 after we are getting close to the support level, and I'm getting in with confirmation. We can see how buyers are stepping up in this level. A new candle formed on this 1 minute. We obviously held support in this area. So I'm looking for an extension going up higher. So I took a 1,300 share position looking for the extension up through this level. And so we tapped 50 for just a second and we pulled back. My support here is around the 240 level. And if we can hold the 240 level, my position still looks good. So now I'm looking for the break over 250. And if we can get the break over 250, we'd be looking for a squeeze to 260, 270 back through high of day. So this is what I'm looking at. We have support around the VWAP and the 9 EMA. So this is a moment of truth here. Is it going to go? And so we start breaking out in this area. I can start taking a little bit of profit just above this level, half off there, looking for the extension up over 240 here. So let's just watch and see if this wants to break up over 240 and we can get a nice squeeze as it's going up higher. Right now we're looking at 261 in this area. So remember our entry was just under 250. So we're already at our 10-cent profit level target. So typically we don't always need to look for these, extensions all the way up to take profit. You can take profit along the way, depending on how much risk you're willing to take. So right now, this is a $100 winner. As this is scaling out higher, I'm looking to see if this wants to break through high a day, and I can take profit along the way also. So that was a $115 winner there, and it was a very nice trade off of this level of a support column that we found up on the minute time frame and the 5-minute conjoined. So this was a very, very nice setup to be able to trade with indicators, and you can clearly see MACD is cross positive, which is amazing. So if you have all of those set up together, you can really get a nice trade for yourself as it continues going higher. And so the second trade that I want to show is a little bit of a bigger winner. This one's a little bit tricky, and so I just want to explain this setup real quick as well. I don't have my gap scanner on this one, unfortunately, but we obviously have gapped up over 100% on the stock. We started out from a low of 111, and now we're up a high of 286. So we gapped up over 100%, maybe 150% on the day. We have news on the stock, which is good to see. We have room up over the 200 EMA. See how the 200 EMA in purple is 118. We're above that level. We've been above that level for a while. So it's clearly holding above the 200 EMA. And so this is a way that I dissect this, right? We made a really nice move up on the 10-second chart, very strong pattern, and now we're kind of pulling back on the 1 minute. And so typically when I see a little bit of a pullback on the 1 minute, indicates that a little bit of selling is coming through. So what I'll do is I'll watch this to see what it does around the 20 EMA on this pullback on the 10-second chart. So we have a little bit of a curl here, and I decided not to take a position. And one of the reasons why I decided to not take a position is we're kind of extended on the 9 EMA here on the 1 minute chart. And so what I'll do is I'll watch for the next curl, and if it proves itself it is curling and it's holding, then I'll get into a position. So right here, we're kind of choppy around this 9 EMA range, kind of, momentum starting to die down. And now I'm watching to see what it's going to do around this 20 EMA. And so I'll watch the level 2 on the top right here to see if it wants to start curling. And if it does, we can start seeing a bigger move up to the upside. So right now we're testing support of the 20 EMA, and possibly we can see this extension up going higher. So right now, a little bit of strength coming through the tape here, curling back up to 266, 267. And so right in this area, is this going to hold support? We have possible holding support up in this area right here. So I'm going to pause this right here. Right now, we're starting to curl off the 20 EMA, and this is exactly the pattern that I want to see. I look at the 1 minute chart, volume bars are decreasing as price is going down. That's a really good indication for us, and a new 5 minute candle just formed. So we have a lot of strength in this stock all of a sudden, and so we can look for the extension up going higher. So what I would be looking for is a squeeze up over 273, 275, looking for the break of 286, and then that's where I'll take my profit. So here, we have a new 10-second candle form. I'm looking for an add over this level of 273, looking for the extension up over 275. We get the break here, and immediately it shoots up to 292, and then that's my 10-cent profit target. We're already above this level here, and I can take some off the table and let the rest ride if it wants to. So I'm in. I'm scaling out of my position right now, looking for the break of $3 a share. And as we get this break of $3 a share, I'm taking my profit as it's going up higher for a $200 winner here. And so obviously we're going to catch up with, a little bit of a psychological resistance level up over $3 a share. And typically that level is where I'll take most of my profit off. Look to see if this can, get a little bit of a dip buy here, and then we can look for a squeeze up even higher. So those are a couple really good examples of, what kind of indicators that I'm using day to day when I'm trading. And I think it's really important to use indicators not as a buy or sell signal, but as a reference of how strong this stock is and in the market. So you can use these for yourself. I use them every single day. There's not a day where I'm not checking these indicators. Without them, I don't think I'd be the same trader that I am now. So I appreciate everyone tuning in. I'm live on TikTok at 7 a.m. EST every day. I do have a Discord channel. This is not a call out channel. This is more of a community that I'm building. I will be starting to add to my live trading archives for more trading examples here. And so people can really get an idea of what setups that I'm trading on a daily basis, and then you can really go from there and learn yourself. So I appreciate everyone tuning in today. We got in a lot of support on the previous videos. My last video was a live trading archive of me going and making $200 on one stock, doing micro trading positions, and I earned over $200 that day. So I appreciate everyone and their support. We'll be coming out with our next video pretty shortly. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll go from here. I'll see you guys. Peace.